Well, good evening. Good evening. Happy Taco Tuesday Hangout. I'm Whimsy, your hostess, and as you can see, my sidekick is here, and we all know what she's doing. Look at the concentration. Look at the attention with which Mila focuses on the garden area. Yes, she's looking for her arch nemesis, Shylock the Crow. He's not out there right now, but he could be out there any minute. In which case, she is on the prowl. She is on the watch. As soon as he shows up, I'm sure she will let us know. All right, so how are you all doing today? Pour yourselves a margarita, iced tea, or a cup of coffee, whatever floats your boat. Let's hang out for an hour or so. Hi, Jiggy Pardo Lord. Great to see you here. Claudia Veras, welcome. Debbie M., thank you for being a member. And Hamlet, hi, good to see you here as well. Thank you for the waves. The Copper Broom is here. Great to see you as usual. Hi, Marie Sutton, Heather Kay, welcome. Vivian Rogers, hi. What are y'all drinking? Marjorie Harrison, thank you for being a member. Where are you coming from? What you eating? What you drinking? I don't drink alcohol. Once in a while I'll have a beer. I'm having a Cafe d'Art with 2% milk and some coconut sugar. L'chaim, everyone. Did I say hi to Vivian Rivers? Hello, Vivian. Marjorie Harrison in the house. Hello, gorgeous. Beautiful twinkly soul yourself. Thank you for being a member. Hi, Joel Tilson. Thanks for your help today. Marvel Johnson is in the house. Thank you so much. Good to see you here. Elizabeth M. Hi. Sandy Miller. Hello. Kathy Reagans. Always great to see you here. Intuitive World of Whimsy. Sweet blessings. Thank you. Much appreciated. Spirit Beyond the Stars. She's been here since the very beginning. Marvel Johnson. I think I've already said hi to you, haven't I? Vivian Rivers. Have I said hi? Chris Crowder. Cynthia Vale. Debbie M. Have I said hi? We've got someone from Astoria, New York. Very nice. I actually like Astoria. It's actually beautiful in the fall. Joel Tilson, iced tea with potato. Oh, I love paneer. Oh, my friend Kay is here. Hi, Kay. Kay's working on her piano. Hi, Donna Lampert. Great to see you here. So we've got much to talk about. We'll wait a couple more minutes. We can just hang and chit chat if you like. What have you all been up to? Anything you guys want to talk about? Any concerns you have about what's going on in the world? We can certainly do some blitzes if you like. Looks like Marvel Johnson starts the party off right, festive Tuesdays with a vodka martini bone dry with 3 olives. Don't want to make it a little dirty? Throw a little bit of that juice in there? No? That's not your thing, huh? Okay. Shylock might be willing to go for a lunch date with Mila, but the problem is that Shylock might become the dessert, and that is why that can't. Well, she's free to roam. She goes outside. She hides under the little thing and she watches the birds. Shylock's never come over here because, they're very intelligent. He knows she gets out here. Instead, he sits right over there and just stares at her and drives her crazy. So it's been going on a while. I think it's kind of funny. Oh, hello, global citizen. Nice to see you here. Shaken, not stirred. That's right. It's where you hold the martini and then you start dancing. Who was that? Goldie Hawn? She would shake. Yeah. You had to be there. All right. So What do I want to say? Okay, thank you to everyone who's become a member. As you know, we have memberships, Fairies and Angels at $2.99. We get together on Saturdays if that time works for you at noon. If it doesn't, let me know. That is our private salon day. Just want to make sure everyone's happy with that. It's 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. Again, if you want me to come earlier or later, not so much, because I know people want to go out on Saturday night. But let's figure out what works best for members. That's the $2.99. That's the private salon that gets together on Saturday. Anybody who's a member can go to the private salon. The Wednesday class tomorrow at 6 p.m. It is requested if you are coming to the class, make sure you have read pages 1 through 40 of Hands of Light. That is for students who are at the Healers and Empaths level. We'll be at class 2. You can always jump into a classroom at any time. Tomorrow, we're going to be discussing set and setting, how you set up your room to do remote viewing. And we're also, like I said, going to be covering those first 40 pages of Hands of Light. We'll also be doing 2 predetermined targets. Hidden targets for you to practice with. We always make sure to get the students plenty of practice time, and then we encourage you also to practice on your own. I thought I had another announcement to make. Oh yes, the other announcement is our book of the month is The Last Thing Claire Wanted. We will be discussing what you think of our book of the month at the end of Sunday's show, next Sunday show. Mila, I gotta get out. Don't bite. She's like biting me like I'm harassing her. Not harassing her. Okay, yes, I love you very, very much. Please don't take it the wrong way. Okay. So for the month of May, we promote books written by members of this community. I know people have been recommending great books. Clan of the Cave Bear, they're all great. But what we're doing is we're doing books by unknown authors that are members of this community. So people that have subscribed to the channel, or just people that are part of our community. We want to support their work. This book actually turned out to be really good. I was up late last night reading it. I got to bed at like 3 in the morning. Anyway, so we're reading The Last Thing Claire Wanted. I think you can read it on your Kindle if you're thinking, I'm running out of time. And then, so that's what we're going to be talking about on Sunday after the Sunday show. And then for the month of June, if you want to join us in June, Isabel's Starry Night will be the book selection for June. If you are a writer and a member of this community and you would like us to promote your book and you're feeling like, I need a little loving, send it to us at 1819, was it 1819 Southwest, 5th Avenue. The address is below this video. Have I made all the announcements? You guys would tell me, right? So we've got debt ceiling. We've got the South Carolina 6-week abortion ban. We've got Tim Scott running for the GOP. We've got anything and everything else. I want to cross my legs, Mila. You're that's not where you belong. She was supposed to be over there with Shylock. Okay, I'm going to grab a deck of cards. Actually, you know what? We're going to use the large deck today because people like those, and you guys can all see them, right? Okay. What's going on March 25th? I know that E. Jean Carroll is angry at Trump because evidently he has been violating the terms of, he lost the case. And if he continues, he's going to be in the poorhouse. Well, I think I think I need to get the order to blitz away. Once we do that, I will just stay here and hang out with you folks. Does that sound like fun? maybe answer some questions. They can be gossip. You guys want to gossip? We can gossip, all in good fun. Or we can do politics, or we can do metaphysics. We can talk about anything you like. Don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't be afraid to explore the space. Ooh, so many people asking me to blitz makes me feel loved. You want to say the empath's prayer with me? Who here knows the empath's prayer? Hmm. I'm just curious. Am I the only one that knows how to say the empath's prayer? Oh, Annie G. Okay, other people know how to say the empath's prayer. Okay, let's do it together. We should turn it into a song. We could maybe turn it into a folk song. What do you think? I could work on it, right? Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively we say, Amen. To be a conscientious person, every day we have to do an account and a reckoning. I'm looking at my retirement portfolio. It isn't pretty, by the way. But I had some great adventures, not saving money. But I was looking at it, we create karma with the companies we invest in. So it's just something that now that we're like thinking a lot about the account and reckoning, and we're worried for our retirements, our 401ks, etc. One of the things that I've been thinking about is I'm divesting of like fossil fuels, things that I have to be mindful of as somebody who stocks are part of my retirement, right? So it's just something I've been thinking about. I don't know if you all have been thinking similar thoughts about, how do we take care of ourselves? We have to think of another way of doing business, right? Than assuming that destroying the earth and all of her resources is the only way we're going to secure our retirement. I think is just such a warped concept when you think about the information we get on this channel about prayer and being conscientious consumers, etc. So it's just something I'm really, really now just becoming very aware of. Oh, MJ420, welcome and thank you for being a member. It's much appreciated. And now we must ask you if you are a fairy or an angel. I am a fairy. I am not an angel. I have angelic moments. Yeah. Well, you can make anywhere home as long as you've got friends. So, I mean, maybe for a lot of people that means that they're seriously considering moving to Portugal, or because I don't think people have to buy either. People are like, oh, it's so intense, and I got to go and I got to buy a house in Spain. I'm like, why are you buying? God, who wants to buy anything? Stay liquid. You know, rent a apartment and you'll be fine. Keep your life. The older you get, the less stuff you need. I'm telling you. Let me see. Are we getting any questions? Let me see. Oh yeah, Joel. The judge, evidently, E. Jean Carroll. Are you talking about E. Jean Carroll's judge? Oh, they had a video conference because of what Trump had made some statements about her during the town hall. Yeah, I'm so glad something was done because he's using the bully pulpit again to re-abuse his victim. And not only to re-abuse her, but then it becomes like a bullying thing. He's re-abusing her, and then he's getting other people to go along with it, like an audience of supporters. And anybody on TV who happens to be watching, which is another reason why what CNN did was so unbelievably irresponsible. And it makes me also think about what's going on with Russel Brandt and how it's like, are you experiencing early Alzheimer's? What is going on with Russel Brandt? I think I made a statement. I actually put something, I made a statement, but it's the whole right-wing thing that he's been promoting. This is Russell Brandt gossip, and we can go ahead and talk about the change, the transformation of what's happening in with Russell Brandt, and um, but basically saying that the West should not supply military aid to Ukraine, and it should only be humanitarian, forgetting that he wouldn't exist if America hadn't bailed Britain out in World War II. I mean, because the Nazis were going to march on, they were going to march on Britain. They were very close to when the tide was very close to turning in the favor of Germany prior to the Americans getting into the war. So we could have done the same thing. America could have stepped back. We could have let the Nazis march into Britain and said, well, we're just going to supply humanitarian aid because we've got to take care of America because we're coming out of a depression. So the argument that they're using is so insane given British history. And it's a shame because I really used to like his stuff, his humor, but he's really, do you not hear yourself? I mean, have you not seen what's going on in Bakhmut? I mean, this is genocide. I mean, you think it was bad, the Blitzkrieg, when they bombed London? You should take a look at Bakhmut. So, I don't know. Do you guys have any opinions about the changes you see in Russell Brandt? Or maybe you need another margarita to talk about it? I don't know. It was something that I wanted to talk about because it was something I was meditating on. I heard him, and I don't like war any more than anybody else. I'm a peace-loving person who wants war, but when children are being raped, when it's a case of extermination and genocide, at that point you have no choice. You must go in. Same with the Nazis, with what was going on in World War II, or when they had already begun bombing and didn't they achieve, the Nazis, didn't they land on some of the islands outskirts of Britain? I mean, it was bad prior to America getting involved in the war. It was looking like Germany was going to succeed, and I don't understand where his head's been. It's just very strange for me. Anybody else been picking up on that, like, or had those same thoughts rolling through your mind? Am I, like, wrong here? I mean, I'm willing to admit if I'm wrong, how he differs, because there were believe it or not, there were a group of people in World War II that had Russell Brandt's argument that didn't think the Americans should be involved in what was going on in Europe. And for a long time, America was not involved in what was going on in Europe. If it's going on in Ukraine, it's not our problem. If people are being massacred in Austro-Hungary, Ukraine, etc., it's not America's problem, right? Theoretically, if there's an invasion of Poland or if they're bombing Britain. It only became our problem when we got bombed. And so by Brandt's argument, we don't have to do anything. We can just allow genocide to happen. And we should have done nothing in World War II to have protected Britain, because all you have to do is take care of your own country's protections, and you're not under humanitarian aid. You can allow the Jewish refugees, maybe allow them to come in, or maybe help the refugees. But if somebody comes in, if you look at like what Zelensky said in the remotes, he talked about it being like a inferno, like a volcano going off and taking over the country. So the problem, I think, with what Russell Brandt and other people who take this argument don't understand is that when you're dealing with a psychopath, if you do nothing to stop them, they just keep coming, right? You can't negotiate with. There's no halfway with a psychopath, right? It just really bothered me. I mean, I was mortified. I was like listening to him, like, do you not see what's happening to these people in this country? It's like, yeah. Russell Brandt is a comedian and an actor out of Britain who's gone in a direction that his friends and fans don't understand. That's the best way to describe it. Well, it's also naive because what makes you think that we're going to continue to be safe, particularly, and when you invade a country, you invade their resources. You take over their resources, which would totally upend America's trade with those countries. And why would you think once, if Putin were successful, why do you think he would stop with the eastern half of Europe? Why not just keep going? Since Russell Brandt's argument is you don't obstruct people like this, you just give free medical attention to the victims. And I think my argument is more like a traditional Talmudic Jewish argument, which is you do everything in your power to avoid war. War is bad. And 99 times out of 100, you can avoid war. But in a situation like this, where people are coming in and it's a case of genocide, then you have a moral responsibility to step in and protect those people. Protect yourself, of course. Yeah. You didn't, what is that song? We didn't start the fire. It's kind of like that, right? Yeah, it's too bad because he does occasionally say things I agree with, but let's start with some questions. I just thought I would throw that out there because it was something that bothered me, and I know that a lot of you have mixed feelings about it, and yeah, so I thought I'd throw it onto the floor. Okay. I guess March 21st is Trump's trial for what? Okay. There's some trial. Oh, March 25th? Oh. Oh, you mean next year? Next year, March 2024? Huh? I'm a little confused. Okay, so the first question is coming from Joel Tilson. And if I can't see the reading, just ask Joel. He'll make sure I see it because he makes it all big and bright. The question is about, will Joe Biden have to use the 14th Amendment, or are we going to get a deal? I feel like the deal comes either tonight or tomorrow night, but probably tonight, because I had said 2.5 days on Sunday. Oh, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Oh, yeah, so tonight or tomorrow night, the deal, then we should have the debt ceiling worked out, right? Let's see, unless something dramatic has changed. See, my problem with the cards is that I'm starting to feel like Biden is sometimes a little bit too agreeable with the Republicans. I understand that that's how you work things out. He's respectful of people. He shakes their hands. He's warm and kind, even to somebody that we may not necessarily agree with. But I think that is polite company should behave a certain way, even if you don't agree. And I actually agree with President Biden about that to some extent. I just don't always think it's easy. 6 of Cups, he offers a hand of peace to the Republicans. This has me concerned because what is he giving up? Student debt? I mean, like, what is that, right? Is he going to get stricter on immigration, which, by the way, is a disaster? I mean, have you seen what's happening to the crops right now? Nightmare. But that's Six of Cups. He's offering them something. McCarthy is the eighth house, the opposition, flim-flam man, Two of Pentacles. They seem to be confused and flip-flopping about what it is they actually want. The hope and the fear, whether or not they're going to have movement, success in war. The Knight of Wands can be a going forward, onward, charge, right? The charging knight. The final outcome is that the debt ceiling is going to go through relatively soon. Ace of Pentacles, final outcome. That of everything in the 4 card blitz, I would say the thing that bothers me the most is that Six of Cups. Like, are you offering them tea biscuits? I mean, what is that? Biden refuses to be manipulated into a situation by the Republicans. And so he's going to be very, they reach an agreement and it will be signed within the next 2 to 3 weeks. But, you have to backtrack. There's some backtracking here on the part of Biden in the sense of, well, I didn't say that, because you have this offer that comes in this week, but then 9 of Wands, he's cornered himself to some extent, Biden. At the same time, his opposition, the Republicans, look how confused they are about what they want. 7 of Cups and 2 of Pentacles. It's like they want power, but once they've got it, they don't seem to know what do you want for the American people, and what does it look like? I mean, they're just 7 of Cups in the clouds. Hopes and fears that there will be heartbreak, and also the need for movement. The final outcome is contract is signed, sealed, and delivered with the money, 2 to 3 weeks. Does that work for you? Which trial, Kay? I need more specifics. I have there's so many trials. It's a lot of trials. Hi, Gloria. Good to see you. Oh, Rose Blue. Charge Trump $5 million every time he violates his the court order. A minimum of 10 million for, let's take a look. Jean Carrol, talk about a lady. Every time he talks, they could issue an economic fine. Let's take a look, people. We're going to look at it from the perspective of Jean Carrol. It's good. These small victories, it's good. We need like the big victories, though. We need them all to go to prison. That would be. All right, let's see how she's doing and what's going on in her future. I would think she's feeling very empowered right now, don't you think? She genuinely felt like he was harassing her again. She genuinely felt that he was going to try and make her and harassing her part of his 2024 campaign. That he was starting up again. That was how she perceived of it as the victim. So this is almost like a PTSD card, 9 of Wands, when a person starts to feel like they're being pushed in. She's pushed back into the closet where she was raped. So this guy has re-traumatized her by getting it, like when, like in any situation where somebody is saying things that are not true and it's starting to build up steam. He's grifting, Page of Pentacles. It's for the money. It's for the job, the hope and fear that he will reject, that he will not abide to the agreement. 4 of Cups. Final outcome, the judge is about to make another decision. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge, the emperor. She basically has said that when he speaks like this, it re-traumatizes her, and that was her argument. And that it's also spreading information that's not true. And the judge agreed with her. So her wish has been granted regarding penalties. The wish card is over her. He did re-traumatize her, according to the judge. His response, psychopathy, inverted Queen of Swords. He went cray-cray. The inverted Queen of Swords. He's not going to pay it. Not going to pay it. Knight of Cups. He's given he's repeatedly warned. He's determined to have some health problems also. I just went ahead a couple weeks. Look at that. Inverted Page of Cups. Look at it again. Refuses to pay. He's going to try and not pay this thing. You follow this energy, they could start garnishing and taking things, right? Couldn't they start confiscating property? Because it's not looking good. It looks like declining mental illness due to aging and a refusal to pay his bills, which is something he's notorious for, which causes the judges to potentially go in and take more aggressive action. That's what we can look forward to if the energy continues, because we don't read the future as remote viewers. We just try and get into what people are thinking and see things from their perspective and what they're trying to do. We can see them trying to set something up. And what we see when we get into Trump's head is what he's trying to set up is this is money for him. He needs money. That's what this grift is about. It's more about he would love to be president, but he loves the grift. And so all of this is, at this time is a grift. Two of Pentacles is the grifter's card. It's the guy who's got money here, there, and everywhere. He's juggling, like playing with the walnut shells, right? That's kind of the energy you always kind of get with Trump. Oh, hi, Jenny. Good to see you here. DeSantis is continuing to have imaginary, he's having pretend arguments with imaginary Disney characters. I don't know how, hi, sweetheart. So she wants to eat. It's dinner time. Honey, go eat. You don't need me. The food's in the bowl. But yes, he's having an imaginary argument, a pretend argument with Disney cartoons. Crazy. You guys voted for him. We didn't vote for him. Well, you guys didn't. All right, let's see. Let's see what DeSantis has got up in his sandbox today. He's facing federal investigation, multiple federal investigations. I told you that when I got into the DOJ's records regarding DeSantis, they referred it to Homeland Security, that he could have been violating Homeland Security by making decisions that were supposed to be decisions of Homeland Security. He overrode them. And so Homeland Security could recommend charges. That was what I could ascertain when I was asked to get the documents on that. So when they started shipping people everywhere, there were demands that the DOJ act, and that was how the DOJ acted. Because when I followed the energy, it was referred back to Homeland. Which may be another reason why they're going after Homeland, right? Because now they have a guy from Homeland who could be potentially charging or indicting Republicans who are violating, or committing crimes, human rights violations against immigrants. So he has a fear of incarceration. fighting around him. His own people are starting to hate him. They think he's gone crazy. So now in the other room, you have a bunch of Republicans at the governor's mansion, right? And they're all fighting and battling it out because of what he did. And he's hiding in another room. So he's off in a corner, jailed by his own people. And here they are in the salon with the bourbon and cigars. These are his own people. It does not bode well for his future. That's why I'm saying it never bodes well for his future. And Disney's going to what? They're laying off what? Another how many thousands? The truth is going to come out about him. Some truth, some hidden secrets. The Queen of Swords, who brings the sword of truth, slices with the knife. She's as cold as ice. You know that song? You guys know that song? She's willing to sacrifice our love. No, I didn't smoke marijuana. I'm like this naturally. No, but I always think of that with the Queen of Swords. You know, she cuts with the knife, slice. Or that, what's that, Billy Joel? She's always a woman to me. It's like, you need to get out and date a different type of girl. But she cuts you and she laughs while you bleed. Right? Those are the dark aspects of the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords is also, she wants truth. So she'd make a hell of a lawyer, right? Because she just goes in, and it's similar to channeling that Page of Swords, that Michael energy of that sword, slice, getting to the facts, getting to the information. A woman who's a surgeon might become as the Queen of Swords, cutting out the problem, right? A military officer, a butcher, people who work with swords or knives. But it's also about that the past is gone. When you think about the Queen of Swords, she finishes it, you know. She goes in, she cuts through the BS, the clouds part. You can see the clouds have parted. She gets through the BS and she puts the past behind her, which is how you get closure. I mean, in a way you can think of it as that the Queen of Swords teaches us how to get closure, right? The truth has to come out, and then you need to own the truth, and then you need to apologize, and then you need to learn from it, and et cetera, and then you move on. So in terms of his fears of incarceration, he will attempt to flee like a thief his own constituents who no longer exist. That is basically what the cards are saying, and I'll show you. There are a few inversions, so I'm just going to leave them. He attempts to flee like a thief a situation that he's gotten himself into where he feels defensive, cornered, his own people who are fighting amongst themselves about his actions, which are disastrous, and then gone, dead in the water. It's as if he loses his own support. They're gone. They leave the salon, and then the salon is like a tomb. At first, his followers are screaming and yelling and trying to work it out, and then they're gone entirely. Also, he's gone. Look, he's fleeing like a thief, as if he's committed a crime and attempting to avoid some kind of incarceration. Here as well, some type of truth is revealed that causes a deep sorrow, inverted sun over the truth that is revealed. What's interesting also is that this is the truth of the moon, that which is hidden by the light, or an attempt to cover something up, an inverted sun, again, to put a blanket on something. So there is an attempt here to cover up or put a covering on to take the sun away, right, from whatever this is, this emerging moon, this emerging information. I'm telling you, there's a cover up and theft and trying to flee jail. And look at the future of his supporters and outcome. That's bad. That's real bad. This guy is wiped out, Nine of Swords, stressed out, and it's inverted, that's almost like suicidal. His cards are horrible. Could I ask you if you feel better or worse? I don't know, Ginny. I don't know. Do people feel better or worse? I don't want ill on anyone, but I can tell you as a reader, those cards are dreadful. Oil markets are crashing, according to Joel. Interesting. Well, I don't know if you all know, but there's been some concerns that the Arab countries are beginning to chit chat about doing business with Putin. Remember that Putin had been doing business with Libya, right? Infrastructure in Africa, trains. So he's back at it again, right? Now that Libya's gone, he's going to go and try and work on trains, planes, infrastructure, weapons, etc. with other countries. There used to be conflict between, and still is, between Iran and Saudi Arabia, but they're working on possibly normalizing relations, which will be interesting. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to go. I'm going through slowly so that I get you guys. My allergies are like not here today. Thank God, knock on wood. All right. Somebody said that they want to know what happened to Russel Brandt. Could we ask the cards? Sure. I mean, the Me Too movement in Hollywood, where a lot of people got called out for inappropriate behavior. And Russel Brandt was one of those people who was basically called out for his jokes being inappropriate, like interviewing with a female comedian and joking around and touching her and trying to like put his arms around her, etc. And she was laughing, but she was clearly uncomfortable. And that kind of comedy where she was being grabbed and she was laughing and trying to get away from him, that probably cost him his career in Hollywood. And he came out and he apologized and said, "Hey, I was joking around. If I hurt you, I'm sorry. It was just a joke." But I think that may have been part of what hurt him in Hollywood, because it's just a hypersensitive time right now in Hollywood, where even that kind of thing, you got to be really careful who you joke with. And so that may have been part of it. Or it might have been none of it. But he didn't want to work in Hollywood after a while. So it could also be that his projects, Hollywood's kind of a difficult environment to work in. I don't like living and working in Hollywood. Just as a doctor, I didn't like being there. I can't imagine as an actor. So it could be that too. All right, what happened to him? He's heartbroken. So there must have been some kind of rejection that happened, when he kind of got kicked to the curb by... They felt that they couldn't insure him for some reason. 8 of Swords. They said, "Our hands are tied. We can't insure you." I don't know. I mean, maybe there was a lawsuit. Came up. He lost money. You can see here the studios, brokenhearted, lost contracts. He maintained his sobriety throughout it. It was difficult, but he maintained his sobriety. He doesn't see himself going back to Hollywood. Some people in Hollywood feel it was a rash decision, the way he was treated, and that certain people that were in positions of power, producers, etc., that kind of blacklisted him have gone. They're no longer in Hollywood. And basically what it shows in the Akashic Records is that there are people that do want to work with him, and that the people that were being hard on him have left. There's like a changing of the old guard. The old zealots are gone. He's become very stable in his life. Part of him misses like California, Oregon area, the Pacific Northwest. His children would do well there, Two of Wands. Oh, he has 2 children? His wish has been granted. He'll probably go back to Hollywood because he's wanted. And I guess there was some blowhard that he had a conflict with that's no longer there. And yeah, and it had to do with maybe some stuff that happened. And there were some issues with insurance, evidently, insuring his, he couldn't get insurance. So it could be that he was mad and angry about that, or he felt hurt and rejected because of what happened. But it looks like he will be going back and making films in the future. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him, though. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that they're his genuine beliefs. But I get that people are, look, the guy's a vegan. He doesn't want to see people killing each other. So it's like, I don't want to be a part of that. I'll help you if you've got pain, but I totally get where a gentle, loving person who's a vegan wouldn't want to be part of war. But sometimes, we all want to go eat lollipops and live in La La Land. But unfortunately, sometimes you have no choice. So anyway. All right. Gail wants to know what was discussed at the Bilderberg Conference. What are they looking to change over the next few years? What is the Bilderberg Conference? Can somebody remind me? Well, he does have sponsors. Russell Brandt does have sponsors. That's true. Let's see what's going on with the Bilderberg elite. What are they planning? I think I know what you're talking about. It's that annual meeting of the millionaires and billionaires where they all talk about, they sit around like they own the earth and we're just living in it. Yeah. And evidently their grandkids are sabotaging it. I think their biggest concern is environmental issues. Well, actually, it's not all bad. A lot of this stuff has to do with how the economy is, how the Earth is going to look over the next couple of years, and how commerce is being affected, population studies, etc. There is a concern about them having control over things, but control over their legacy, which is kind of an interesting way of looking at it. And I think something is happening where certain rights are being chipped away from the mega elite because you have this inverted sun coming in over the issue of 3 of Wands. So it's kind of interesting because so many of them have lost their yachts with these raids from the feds. It's kind of funny. Yeah, the garden. A lot of it had to do with ecosystem stuff, which makes sense because the dreamer of dreams. I think they're getting out of the war. They're getting out of the war business, and then they're into green economy. This is to walk away from war. 5 of Swords. I think they're getting. That's certainly what Gates has gotten into. So if you're looking at just things that we look at as anthropologists, is population studies of how many people can you feed on an acre of land, depending upon the how you're growing vegetables, etc. Like best use practices if you have only a limited amount of land. So that and feeding large populations, like yeah. So that it was a lot of that sort of stuff. More, it didn't really look like world dominion, but I think that if you are a billionaire and you're dealing with an ecological disaster like that, then you probably understand. If nothing else, you should be able to understand that it's going to have a huge impact on your business if you're under, 20 feet of water. So it does seem like those types of cards tend to be more focusing on how they change towards the new green earth. Yeah. We will do it very quickly once people wake up and figure it out. You're here to be happy and keep the planet happy, and that there's plenty for everybody. Once the lights go on, the world is going to become a much more pleasant place. I'm convinced of it. Oh, Claudia Vera says that she read that they were discussing, environmental issues, and it looked like food acquisition, how to make sure that populations are fed. But a lot of those new programs are being started by their grandkids who are philanthropists that are pushing for green change and conscientious capitalism, making sure that, putting an end to poverty, which is one of the things that a lot of activists have been working on, creating grant programs, loans without high interest in remote areas for new business, etc. They don't trust the press, and they think the press that they wouldn't get a fair shake. That's basically their argument. Also, they want to be able to be free to create and talk without feeling like everything is being recorded. It's not entirely malevolent, you know. Most rich people are not sociopaths. They just happen to be rich people. Um, but everything in life changes and technology changes, right? Our technologies change, and that's a good thing. You think about the Model T with the bad oil that would make it knock around, right? And we don't use a Model T engine. If you go into the remotes about what they're going to be doing to these old cars, they're looked like it was General Motors is developing this small little device that you put into a gas guzzling car and you can convert it into an electric car. That was basically what they showed me. It goes in under the car and then it's connected to the car in such a way. And then it's actually not particularly hard to do. And then it has a thing it goes up and they create a thing to charge, and it's up under the car and it attaches. So you just stop using oil and you just switch. So it appears, I think it's General Motors, because when I did the remote view and I saw the device, I said, "Oh, great! I can mention it to the audience." And one of the developers said, "It's not. We're not public yet with the prototypes yet, but yes, it's kind of cool." I imagine that the price will go down the more they start to develop those things. But it's really cool that you can just attach a device and turn a car into an electric car. All right, so let's see what really happened. This is another thing that I've had to come out and make statements about with certain people. You can't have a high-speed chase in New York. Really? Can you have a high-speed chase in Paris? I've been to Paris many times. You ever driven in Paris traffic? Got the little mopeds, because it's even worse in New York. And yet, even though Paris traffic is notoriously bad, his mother still wound up crashed against a wall because of crazy people chasing after the car. So you could have said the same argument if she had survived and there were no witnesses in the tunnel. If she had survived, oh, you're just exaggerating. You can't do a high-speed chase in Paris. There are places where you can go high speed, and they were trying to get away. And by the time they got to the taxi, they had already switched cars, so he didn't see what had come before. But the people that saw the beginning of it, yeah, it was very abusive. It's because they get paid to abuse them. They get paid to get pictures of them. Let's take a look. But it makes me so sick, because it's like, you're not going to be happy. They're not going to be happy until he's dead or something. I mean, $100,000 to snatch a photograph. So every lunatic is chasing after you. You'll never be free as long as they're paying anybody. They're calling them freelance photographers. Anybody with a camera can call the trip line and say, hey, I got a picture of Meghan. So, tip line. So, he's a psychopathic man, you know. I think they knew exactly what they were doing with Diana. They knew eventually something was going to happen. That she kept saying something was going to happen. Something's going to you know, she went afoul of the conservatives, the royalists, the people who like to bury bombs, right? Landmines, major a business deal for the Tories, right? British landmines. So, you know, it goes right back to the first remote when I had that thing with Harry, and he said, the working man can't get ahead. That's what Harry said. He must have been reading like a bunch of communist, almost like no, not communist. It was more like socialism from the 60s and 70s, like Black Power, like it had that kind of feel to it, Harry. Like it was like fight the revolution and we gotta stick it to the man. It was that kind of energy from Harry when I had the first remote view with him. And I remember walking out of that like, what the hell did I just experience? Like, that's not what you think about when you meet a member of the royal family, that they're going to start talking like that. Depression is the main energy you get when you go into this. Is he's depressed, his wife's depressed. I mean, getting connected with him means being terrorized all the time. Depression with them, inverted sun card. They're just depressed constantly. Depression. It's affecting her emotional health, right? Can you imagine having to live like that? It's aggravating her mental health. I mean, they are hounded. No, they cannot be left alone. From the perspective of Charles, here's what I'm hearing. It's become increasingly clear to us that given the current environment, it's probably not feasible for him as a member of the royal family to live on his own, to live outside the family. It's not feasible. It just doesn't work because of the amount of attention that he and Meghan are receiving. So I feel when I sit as Charles in this energy, that what I'm feeling, I'm hearing the feedback, I'm seeing the stories, that it's not feasible. So we have to be able to offer some solution. At the same time, my son doesn't want to come back to Britain because of how things are here, because of the whole Murdoch empire. So what I hear myself saying is, let me speak to my people. So that tells me as Charles, if I'm saying, let me speak to my people, it's going to be very difficult to have you come back here given everything that's going on, the family, etc. At the same time, it's becoming increasingly clear to me that you can't this is just not working. So let me speak to my advisors and see if we can find some way of working something out. That's kind of where I'm at as Charles. We want you back into the family, but it's how do you come back to the family? And that would be the way to protect you. There are positions in the Caribbean they could do. You have a job offer. Heal the situation, reaching across to them. He presents as the King of Cups, Charles, attempting to moderate. Boy, has he become a great king. Some of his activism is really coming out. His wife can't go back to Britain. If he goes to Britain, then his wife will leave him, and that's his feedback to Charles. She can't. Her mental health's been too affected. Meghan leaves. Mental health issues. Locked out of the garden mostly. Locked out of the church. He goes back into Ice King mode. The military boy. This depressed. His father, Charles, wants a new beginning with his boy. He wants a relationship with his son. They're going to have to work this out. This is ridiculous, man. Final outcome, there's a celebration. The family will work it out. Give them a position in the Caribbean. It'll be beautiful. Something like that. So right now it looks like they're negotiating a position where Meghan will feel safe and not be bullied and harassed by these folks, and they can be given the security they need, because it's become increasingly obvious to Charles that it's not sustainable. This is, after what happened in New York, it's clear it's not sustainable. That's the feedback. I don't know. Where would she go? Where can she go? And where can they live as members of the royal family, get protection from this, and it be an environment where Meghan's not being harassed? That's the fundamental issue that he and Charles have to look at. That's what it looks like. Yeah. So what does Harry want? Well, he doesn't want to take his wife back to Britain when he sees her like that. 5 of Pentacles, impoverished. She has a life in Britain. She has a life in California. Anyway, I actually I never have a bad energy when I go into Charles' energy. I know not everyone likes him, but he seems like he tries to be fair with people. All right, here's an interesting question from Be Grateful. How big of an impact will AI have on the world in the next 10 years? Don't you think AI is taking over everything? Though Google gets it wrong. You ever wondered what Google's profile of you is? I started getting all these dating things. Google thought, because of what you Google, they build a profile. This is why I have no faith in AI, right? So Google's profile is that I am a proud gay Black woman. That is dating apps, lesbian links, stuff, just stuff about the culture. And I don't know. That was how they, I don't know. I don't know. But the point is this. The point is this. That's AI. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. I think I was looking at Toni Morrison stuff at one point, and I looked at something else and looked at something else. And then this dating thing came up, and I just thought, I just broke out. I thought it was hysterically funny because it's AI is not a person. I don't think it's as far along as people think it is. That's all. Maybe it's good at playing chess, but it's not a replacement. It can't really tell you who you are. You know what I'm seeing? That's hysterical. And they're like, be in your power. And I'm like, okay. Like Chad, okay. It stopped. Now I've got a bunch of stuff. It changes. It's based on your Google searches. Like now I'm getting, what am I getting? What's the latest thing? Something else that was really, really weird based on Google searches. I don't know. I'll tell you, but it just, there's, yeah, take it with a grain of salt. We're not there yet. I think there's going to be a lot of advancements in medicine, but it has to be very select, like nanosurgeries and things like that. It's definitely improving over the next 6 years. If you're just looking at AI, Six of Swords would be a smoother water. Six of Cups also means going back to what we love. So that's an element of creativity in science too. Hopes and fears is our demise. We fear inverted death is like death and destruction. We fear the control of AI, like the Andromeda strain, where the two computers, the Soviet Union and the Americans, started communicating, and then they merged, and then they connected their nuclear power, their nuclear weapons, and pointed it and said, if you try to shut us off, we're going to blow you all up, right? So people have that fear of the Andromeda strain. Fear, inverted death card is like the fear of physical death. But what I see is a great opportunity to merge AI with everything from creative arts to the sciences. Like Six of Cups is great. It's a creative energy card, and it's about going back to what you love. And King of Cups is a peace card. So another thing you can do with AI is it can come up for solutions to problems. Like if there's a conflict, how can we resolve the conflict using AI? There's going to be a lot of lawsuits about things like patent and patent violations, etc., as AI becomes more and more developed. There's a lot of battling, fighting for intellectual pursuit. You can see here, defensive. It could be like there's, pursuits of patents, fights over patents, etc. But overall, it would suggest with those cards that the development of AI is moving in a very good direction. Yeah. Okay, I think we're done. Oof, I'm kind of tired now. We've been here for over an hour. Did everybody have fun? Yeah? With your Taco Tuesday? Did anybody have a taco? That's what I'd like to know. Anybody have a margarita? Anybody have any salsa and chips? Yeah. My dinner was beyond boring. I baked some lemon chicken and some baked potatoes, and I've been eating that for the last couple days. Yeah, what can you do? It's just simple. Um, I hope that Harry and Meghan are not ripped apart by this by being driven insane by this wingnut Murdoch. I mean, God, those folks need to see a psychiatrist. Can you imagine doing that to somebody? It's just absolute wackadoodles. Did he used to be in the British House of Lords too, didn't he? Is that right? Am I right about that? Oh, Joyce is going to have fish. Nice. Butter garlic chicken. Oh, that's what I had. I had butter, garlic, and lemon. I breaded it. I breaded it, but I baked it. It's a way of doing it where you just put some flour and then you can do a little olive oil. Some people, one way is to put a little bit of butter on each of them. And then I put some dill as well as the others. And then you bake it and then it melts and it creates like a sauce. I covered it. Why does Harlan Crow have Hitler memorabilia in his home? Well, he's probably a fan of Hitler memorabilia, I would think. Doesn't mean you're a Nazi. I mean, I've talked to some of those folks, and most of them are not Nazis. They're just history buffs. We went to one of those coin collection antique places, and my family was like openly Jewish, and we came over and talked to the guy who was selling all the Nazi stuff. And he was very polite, and he was like, I'm not a Nazi. He just finds history and artifacts fascinating. So it may just be something like that. Who knows? Fettuccine with greens, clams, and tomatoes. Dang, girl, that sounds delicious. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you, everyone, for your support. I'll see you tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please bring your books. If you are attending the class, it's going to be fun. All right. Be well, everyone.